come in.
Hello, Vale.
Yes, hi.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Duchesne. I'm the social worker here at the hospital. Do you mind if I come into your room for a few minutes?
Yes, please sit down.
Thank you.
Come in.
Wow, I love this blanket that you have.
I know. It's a hospital blanket too. I was surprised.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little chilly before, and then I asked for this blanket.
Well, I'm glad they're taking care of you in here.
Yes, otherwise I'd be very cold and uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, can I adjust any of your pillows or anything before we get started?
No, I think I'm good right here. Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, like I said before, my name is Caitlin Duchesne. I'm the social worker here at the hospital. And I see on your intake form it says your name is Vale, but I want to make sure that there wasn't maybe another name you would like me to address you by.
No, Vale.
Vale, okay, great. Well, my purpose for being here today is just to talk with you a little bit about your Medicaid situation. I saw in your intake form that your doctor has you set to be discharged on Friday. Your Medicaid is running out. However, your doctor does seem to believe that you are in a good condition to be able to return home and continue the recovery process there. Your role today is just to be as open and honest with me as possible. Some of the topics we may cover may be a little bit uncomfortable, but the way that I can do my job best to find the best care and solutions for you is for you to just be as vulnerable and open with me as you can. I do want to let you know that we work under a confidentiality policy, which means everything that we talk about in here will be kept in this room. The only reason I would need to report anything to my supervisor is if you reported to be a harm to yourself or to someone else. Do you have any questions for me so far?
None about your work. I'm just concerned about my Medicaid situation.
Yes.
The way I see it is my money is running out, so the hospital wants to do away with me. The doctors have been very nice, but also this is a business. I understand that. My concern is if I'm actually ready to be discharged versus not being ready to be discharged but can't afford care anymore. And I've asked the doctors countless times, but I don't understand their medical language. I hurt my neck, and that's very scary, number one, and also I don't know how to take care of it by myself, and I am by myself, so I want you to tell me if I'm actually ready to be discharged or if my money's just running out and I need to look for other ways to get the funds.
Well, I want to validate all of your concerns. I understand that the medical language they use here in the hospital and even the medical language behind Medicaid can be very confusing. I work with a lot of patients, and I can tell you that this is a concern for all of them. Also, these patients have also expressed concerns that the doctors maybe are just seeing them more as a number than as an actual person, and they're worried about their quality of care. My role here is to be an advocate for you, to step alongside you, and to make sure you get the best care that you need to recover properly. You are not a number to me. You are Vale. You are a person with concerns and needs, and I want to make sure that you have all of those taken care of. So as far as the Medicaid situation goes, the hospital Medicaid that pays for stays is separate from other Medicaid benefits that you could potentially have as an option. So during your time, your Medicaid option for the hospital has run out, but there are still other Medicaid benefits available to you for at-home care. So ideally what we would want to do is connect you with those at-home care benefits so that you can continue your process of recovery at home. Also, I have both looked at the intake form your doctor gave me and spoken to him personally. I'm also concerned that you maybe aren't ready to be discharged from the hospital yet. However, he has reassured me with full genuineness that you are in a proper place to be able to return home and continue your care there. You have a ruptured cervical disc, which does not require any surgery at this time, It just requires some at-home physical therapy type care and some bed rest, possibly some medications as well. So my role is simply to inform you more about all of that and then get you connected with the proper benefits for at-home care. Tell me if you have any concerns or questions about that.
So you said that you've spoken to the doctor and he's told you what he's told me. And then you said at-home care, but then you also said that I would have to be on medicine, which I already knew. If my Medicaid is running out, how do I pay for my medicine if that's still part of the overall package? I don't understand where the money's coming from, as long as it's coming, but now it's not. So would the medicine also be covered, or?
Yes. So I understand it is a confusing process, but the Medicaid for your hospital stay is completely separate from the Medicaid that will cover your at-home benefits and your medicine. So even though your Medicaid for the hospital is running out for this time being, you still have completely sufficient benefits to be able to continue recovery at home without any extra charges to you. Tell me a little bit more about what happened to get you here in the hospital where you are today.
Well, I was rushing to some place, I forget where, and I was coming out of my building, going out of the steps, and I guess somebody had spilled water, or I tripped. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but I fell. I think I fell a full flight of stairs, and then I got here. Somebody brought me, I'm guessing, probably one of my neighbors. And then they told me I had a ruptured cervical disc, which I didn't know was a thing. But I'm just concerned because, well, number one, I live by myself. I am under a lot of pain, and I'm afraid that I don't know exactly how this works, but I know that if I break something in my spine, then I could be paralyzed, and I can't be paralyzed. And I mean, if it was only the pain, that would be one thing, but because it's my neck, I'm more apprehensive about this whole situation. And also, because now I know that Medicaid can run out, my concern is if I get more care, I won't have that for later if I were to need it. Does Medicaid start over every year? Like, I get a certain amount for my life, or is it for every year?
It is for every year.
Okay.
It will start over. It's set kind of in increments of time. So every 6 months, you have a certain amount of care given for things like hospital stays. Actually, I have some more pamphlets in my office that explain Medicaid really well. It will definitely give you a little bit more insight into how all of these things work. So I will definitely go grab those from my office and bring them to you in a few hours, and you can look those over as well. I'm so sorry about the fall. That seems like it was really scary.
Yes, it was more scary waking up in the hospital than anything else.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned that there's at-home care. What does that mean?
So through Medicaid, we do have some benefits such as a visiting nurse and something called Meals on Wheels. So the visiting nurse program allows you to apply for a registered nurse to visit you at your home and care for you just like the nurses here care for you. So her or his responsibility will be to make sure you're taking the medications that you need, check on your progress of recovery, maybe do some physical therapy with you. Very similar services to what you're already receiving here, just in the comfort of your own home. And like I said, you will be approved for that through your Medicaid. And so if that is something that you're interested in, when I go to my office in a little bit, I will grab the application papers and we can get started on that process today.
And could you help me through that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Also, the Meals on Wheels program that I mentioned is a program designed to deliver homemade cooked meals at your doorstep, so you don't have to worry about cooking big meals for yourself or for anyone else who may be visiting you or in your family while you're in your recovery process. They're able to cater the meals to the needs, the dietary concerns, the tastes of the clients. So if that's also something you might be interested in, I can also grab those forms from my office later as well.
And that's also through Medicaid?
Correct.
Okay. I might as well look through those.
Absolutely.
And you would bring me all the paperwork here?
Yes, and I will help you walk through the process of filling it out. I know it can be a little confusing, but I filled out lots of these forms with clients before, and we'll make sure that you are taken care of. So, Vale, tell me a little bit more about your home situation.
Well, I live by myself. I have 2 sons that live about 30 minutes away. But mostly it's just me. It's just me.
Sure. And tell me a little bit more about any kind of social supports that you have nearby.
Well, I have my church group. That's mostly who I'm with on most days. Most of the people in my church group live in my same building, so I'm guessing. I think one of them called the hospital. I'm not sure, but yeah. So that's who I have with me.
Great. So you have 2 sons who live about 30 minutes away, and you also have several friends who are from your church that live in the same apartment building as you. Within your recovery process, even if we are able to connect you with a visiting nurse, it may be beneficial for you to connect with some of those support networks to make sure that you have proper care throughout the day when maybe the nurse isn't there. Tell me if you think that some of these friends who live in the same apartment building may be of help to you.
Yeah, I think they definitely come see me. We usually spend most afternoons together anyway, so I think that would definitely be an option for me. I'm sure I could just ask them to come over instead of me going to them.
That is great. It's really helpful to have people in our lives who can be there in times of need, and just a smiling, familiar face can definitely help in the recovery process as well. So this week, it may be a good idea to give those people a call. I will follow up with you in the next few days just to see what connections you've been able to make to ensure that you have people visiting you periodically at your home during the recovery process. So we talked about what brought you here to the hospital in the first place. We talked a little bit about Medicaid and how it works, and then we explained some options that you could possibly get for at-home care with your Medicaid as well. We also touched on some support networks that you have that could be of help to you in your process of returning home. Now tell me a little bit more about your feelings towards returning home.
I'm ready to go home. People here have been very nice to me, but I need my space. It's not a very big apartment. It's just like me, my little belongings, whatever I have. But I'm ready to go back, and I'll definitely stop running up and down the stairs. But yes, I'm ready. I need my own bed, my own tea, my own window. So.
I'm glad to hear that you're prepared to go home. I know that just the comfort and familiarity of our home environments can be exactly what we need to recover as quickly as possible. Sometimes being in the hospital can feel tiring, yes, and there's nurses and doctors constantly coming in and out. It can be hard to get rest. So I'm very glad to hear that you're prepared to go home, and over the course of this week, we'll work to fill out all the paperwork necessary to make sure the transition from the hospital to home is as smooth as possible. So Vale, we have about 5 minutes left of our meeting today. Tell me if you have any more questions or concerns.
Well, I was just, now that I'm thinking about it, how long would the application process for the nurse be? I'm being discharged on Friday. How long is that process?
Well, thankfully today is only Monday, so typically the turnaround process for application forms is about 2 to 3 days. So I will come back to you in a couple hours. I have a few more clients to visit beforehand, but I'll grab the paperwork, visit you in a couple hours. We'll get started on that, and we should know by Wednesday or Thursday at the latest about all of that. So it'll be plenty of time before your discharge on Friday.
Okay. And you said that I would probably be approved for that?
Yes.
If I'm not approved for that, what other options would I have?
Sure. Well, we would definitely work more with your natural support systems, like your sons that you mentioned, and like your friends that also live in the apartment building. We would just make sure that different people would be able to prepare meals for you, help you clean the house a little bit, and I want to assure you that you will be approved, especially for the visiting nurse program, knowing your credentials and the situation that you're in, as well as your doctor's notes. You will definitely be approved for that program. So rest assured that that will be totally taken care of. The Meals on Wheels, just depending on how many clients they're serving at a time, may or may not be approved right away. However, if that is the case, like I said, we would just call on your natural support systems and make sure that you were taken care of with food in some other way.
Okay. I'm just counting on the nurse. So.
Absolutely. I understand that this can be a worrisome time. You're needing to recover, but then you also have to worry about how will I transition home and making sure that everything is taken care of. So I want to promise you that I am in full support of you. It's my job to make sure you are completely taken care of before you return home. So just in review, we've talked about a lot of things today. First, we talked a little bit about your injury, your Medicaid. I'll make sure to bring you those forms later that explain Medicaid in a little bit more depth. We also talked about your support systems and also a little bit about your feelings towards returning home. And Vale, it was such a pleasure to meet with you and to talk to you today. I look forward to visiting you over the next week and continuing to just help you through this process. And I did want to mention, I think your watch is beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. It was a gift from my sons.
It is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you're able to still pull that off while you're here kind of in a...
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Absolutely. All right, well, I will visit you again here in just a couple hours. Is there anything else I can do for you before I take off?
Could you get them to bring me a cup of water, please?
Cup of water? Sure, I will. All right, Vale. Well, take care, and I'll see you in a few hours.
Thank you so much, Caitlin.
Bye.